So far, we have developed our website and used the Google Chrome browser to see how it looks. In an ideal world, we would be able to create our site using everything we've learned so far, and the website would look great in any browser. Now, unfortunately, each browser interprets HTML and CSS in a slightly different way, which means that a website may appear differently to visitors using different browsers. So, once we've created our website, we have to review how it appears on multiple browsers. This is very, very important. The most popular browsers right now are Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Safari. Here we have the worldwide market share of all browsers as of January 2015. And here we see that Google Chrome has almost 50% of the market share. Now, the first thing we have to do in order to make CSS3 work the same way in every browser is prefixing some CSS3 properties. And CSS browser prefixes are a way for browser makers to add support for new CSS features in a kind of testing period. Here are the CSS browser prefixes for different browsers. So it's WebKit for Android, Chrome, iOS and Safari browsers, MOZ for Firefox, MS for Internet Explorer, and O for Opera. And here is an example for the border radius property with different browser prefixes. With this code, the border radius property will work even on older browsers of Chrome or Firefox, because the older versions of the modern browsers always cause the biggest problems to us web developers. Now, it seems a little bit boring to add all these prefixes manually, right? Good news is, we don't have to, because there is another great brackets extension that does the job for us. So let's go back to brackets and install it. So, the extension we're going to install is called Autoprefixer. So again, hit here the extensions button, and now right here we write Autoprefixer. So then you hit install here. I already have it installed, so I will not do it. So I hope you have it installed by now, and now it's very, very easy. We just select all the code hitting Command A or Control A, and then we come to this edit menu, and down here we have auto prefix selection. So we hit that button, and now all the relevant properties are prefixed. So let's scroll down here and see what we have, for instance. So here, the transition property was prefixed for WebKit. And this extension is actually pretty smart because it only prefixes the properties that need prefixing in each browser. So in this case, all WebKit browsers, such as Chrome, iOS, Android, and Safari. So again, we have a WebKit transition, and let me show what else we have. Here we have the transform property, and this is for WebKit and for the Internet Explorer. So we see this is pretty smart here again, and it helps us doing our job. And we should do the same here in this CSS file. So again, Command A, and then we hit auto prefix selection. And to be absolutely sure, we can do the same here in our grid CSS file. I actually don't know if this is necessary, but we'll do it just to make sure. So now all our code is prefixed. So we should now test our website on the 4 major browsers as I told you before. So Google Chrome here is obviously not necessary because we already know it works well with it, since we used it all the time to test our website. So next up I have Safari. So this is the Google Chrome browser. Now I have Firefox. And so let me open my index HTML file with it. Alright, So this is Firefox, and well, we see that everything works exactly the way as it works in Google Chrome, right? So no problems here. Everything's fine. Great. And now I will test it on Safari as well. I have it open here actually. So it doesn't work this way. Okay, so I will make open with Safari. And here we go. Again, let's test it. Let's see if everything works. So all these animations work, all our effects, and so things look a little different here. For instance, this box here looks different in Chrome, but that's nothing we could change. That's really something which has to do with the browser and operating systems. Now, for PC users, they cannot test their website on Safari because it only runs on a Mac. But maybe you can use a Mac from a friend or so and test if your web page looks good with the Safari browser. And then we have the Internet Explorer. And this time the Mac users have the problem because we cannot install the Internet Explorer on a Mac. So I will actually not be able to show you how it looks like on the Internet Explorer. So if you have a Mac and you want to test if your website looks good on an Internet Explorer, you can, for example, ask a friend of yours which has a Windows computer and see if your website looks great on the Internet Explorer as well. So actually on the newer versions of the Internet Explorer, like 11 or 10, everything we did should look fine. The most problematic browsers are the older versions like Internet Explorer 6, 7 and 8. Because many of the modern CSS3 styles don't work on these browsers. They are still around, but for us web developers, hopefully not forever. And we will not concentrate so much on these older versions because that would require very specific techniques. And actually, there is a rather complex way of using the Internet Explorer on a Mac. And to find out more about that, check out the link in the ebook. Now, there are, however, some things that we can do in order to make some of the parts of our website work great in older web browsers. So we will use 3 JavaScript scripts to enable some of the new functionalities in older browsers. The first one, there is a little script called respond.js, which enables the browser to understand and execute CSS media queries, which we need for responsive web design. So let me close this, and there is this website, JSDeliver, where we can get many scripts like that for free. More on that later in the next section. But for now, let's just type respond. Okay, here we go. And hit integration. Then all we need to do is to copy this code and paste it at the bottom of our HTML file, right here. So really, after the body, we paste our script files. So again, we will learn more about JavaScript in the next lecture, but for now, let's just copy those scripts right here. So the second script I'm going to use here is called HTML5shift, and this enables us to use and style HTML5 elements in older browsers that were available before HTML5 actually existed. And this is pretty useful, and we will include it just as we included respond before. So HTML5shift. So click this and then the min version and paste it down here. And the last one, we will use selective visor or something like that. I'll just type it here, selective. That's right. So we will use this one, and this allows us to use CSS3 pseudo-classes like lastChild and firstChild on Internet Explorer 6, 7, and 8. So these are just some of the things that you can do. There are many more, but these are some simple solutions. Now, one very handy tool to see what exactly works on which browser is caniuse.com, which is this website. And in here, we can just write CSS properties, and I did this with transform, and it shows us exactly where this works. So we see transform doesn't work in Internet Explorer 8. It works on 9 with the prefix ms, and for 10 and 11 it works just fine without any prefix. So for Google Chrome, for instance, version 31, it needs the WebKit, but from then we don't need that anymore. Or for Safari, for instance, it also needs the WebKit prefix, or for the iOS Safari, and our brackets extension already took care of that. So whenever we need to know if a CSS property works or not on a certain browser, we can use this very handy website. So for me, this part is the most boring part of the web developer work, working with all the browsers and looking what works and what doesn't. But well, we still have to do it because it is super important that we make our website work on as many browsers as possible. So, and with this lecture, we close this section where we built the static part of our website project with HTML and CSS. And it is already great. Now, if you were not able to follow all the lectures or did not understand everything, you can download all the code for the entire project from the link in the description of this video. And, as always, please feel free to ask your questions in the course forums. And then, when you're ready, join me in the next section about jQuery.